All right, what's up, guys? I'm here at BOC with Tad Fulford. Tad, what's going on, man?
Hey, good to see you, Tyler.
Good to see you.
Thanks for hooking us up today.
We met at one of these events back in Maui in like 2017, I think.
Yeah, you're the favorite person I met in Hawaii that week. That was how many years ago was that, man? That was
7?
Yeah, 7 years ago. Trips are different now,
Yeah.
right? But we're in San Diego today. It's not bad.
Weather's great.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Yeah, it was cloudy this morning. I wonder if it's ever been cloudy in San Diego before, but it was for 5 minutes this morning.
Yeah, my wife was like, how's the weather? I was like, it's 75. Like, it's always 75.
No matter what time of day they ask,
Doesn't matter,
it's always 75.
You might not have the heat from the sun, or you might have, a little bit of a breeze, but it's 75.
75, period.
But no, I wanted to have you on just to talk about, what's going on with your office, what's going on in the market, and talk a little bit about, what are you telling agents? Because things have been weird, obviously, with what's going on with NAR lawsuits, etc. So what's going on with you guys?
Yeah, so we are, we're in coastal South Carolina, just to give you a little reference point from where we're coming from, and in the midst of all of the stuff, right? I mean, it's set, what is this, the end of August 2024, and the rules changes and all that just happening. I think what we're finding is that we're proud that we've been good communicators up till now.
Sure. Like
we have a culture of communication in our company, or we try to build it, where with video, with conversations, with purposeful meetings, and as this whole thing unfolded, communication's key.
Sure.
Right? And I don't know how many, for 2.5 years, we've been talking about forums. In South Carolina, North Carolina, we've been doing buyer's agency since 1993.
Okay.
So it's been a thing for us. That change wasn't that big a deal. But with moving the compensation, the fear, I think that's the main thing for us is fear of operation.
Yep.
For really good, talented agents, just sitting down with clients and scared that somebody's watching, like Big Brother,
right? If
you want to call it that. So that's the main thing.
So it's interesting to me because, I talked to a couple brokers in your market and in other markets where they've been doing buyer broker compensation agreements or buyer representation agreements since the 90s. And for me, it was terrifying. So we launched it in February, but telling my agents, hey, these are now going to be mandatory. I said, relax. I talked to these brokers in these other states and they just do it regularly. And I think, it changed a little bit with how it was presented because a lot of agents were doing it at time of writing offer, not necessarily upon first meeting. I think ultimately we've heard a lot of great agents and brokers here that are like, hey, it doesn't matter. We don't even call the agent to find out what the other compensation is. It doesn't matter. We have our agreement with our buyer based on what we do and the services we provide them. But, what the seller's offering, if I can get it negotiated for my client, great. If they're offering one, and I will always try to represent my client to the best of my ability. But, stop with the workarounds.
Right, right.
And just, this is our new way of doing business. So back to the communication thing. Tell me a little bit more about how you said trainings and videos and stuff like that. Can you give me a little bit more detail on what that looks like?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I love video.
Yeah.
You and I have been kind of kindred spirits on that for a long time. And so every Monday I put out a video. I don't even know I know how many people watch it because the technology tells me how many people open it.
Right.
But I don't usually get comments on it. But I'll see people in the hallways and in the offices and they'll say, hey, I watched your video a few weeks ago. So we do video, we do a podcast that we do on a weekly basis, which is, I think, just being present.
Right.
And it's actually spreads out to the rest of the marketplace also, not just, and we're finding that now with these changes, agents and other companies, which is a fearful thing because we're not their broker yet, but they're asking us questions. And so that, and being in the office a lot, I think as an owner, that's an easy thing not to do.
Sure.
Because I've got a lot of other stuff to do, but just when they see me, it's not like, hey, I hadn't seen you in a year.
Yeah. I think, well, first of all, I think you had just gotten off the plane. You still had your roller suitcase with you, and you were doing a video. First time I saw you this week. Yeah. And so kudos to you for being, consistent with that. Tell me a little bit more about what those messages. How long are they? Are they 10 minutes? Are they an hour?
No, I'm one of the few probably. I very rarely use a script. You and I have talked about using a teleprompter.
I hate it.
That goes to the speed of your voice.
I hate it, right.
I'm at 330 words. Like I can't even I use Big View sometimes and I can't get it fast enough.
Right.
And I'm fortunately, I ramble. I talk a lot. So my videos on Monday, it's called Monday Max Chat. And I just it's usually between 4 minutes and 7 minutes of whatever I've learned in the last.
Quick hits.
Very, very rarely is it real estate related is mainly mindset, because that's who I am.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we can conquer anything if we've got our head on straight.
Everyone loves stories. So tell the story. Don't just, hey, we sold another house. Tell the story about how you got there.
Right.
And we're doing the same thing. How did we get here? What are the things that we learned this week, and how do we present that to our agents?
Third-party stories, I think, are key in what we're going through right now.
Yep.
Like in the next 2 weeks to a month to 60 days, 90 days, we're going to have a lot of experiences. And I think it's important to share those.
Yeah.
And then when you sit with the next client, you've learned a little bit more, and you can say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith had this same experience. And it makes them feel like they're not alone, right? And we worked through it, and we're fine. Yeah. So, and I think right now we're in this weird no man's land of no experiences yet, right? We're just now coming through the phone right now.
We're just now getting the, hey, what happens in this scenario? And it was like, hold on, I don't know.
Yeah, and I played a lot of sports growing up, and you could practice, but when you get on the field, and there's an opponent, and there's a game time, and you have to score, it's different. So our agents right now, I think, are feeling that. Even though they've learned it, like I'm confident that our agents know what to do, but when they sit down with a customer, they're still a little bit scared.
Sure.
Because anytime lawsuits are involved, it's a scary thing. And I think about it a lot owning a business like we do.
Sure.
But right now it's really on our minds. And I just think that's a scary way to do business, be afraid. Got to keep the public first. And I think if you do that, that's our job, right? As realtors. The other stuff, you get sued
falls
for anything.
Into place. Right. It falls into place though.
Right. It could. Yeah, I think so.
And I think that was, we're talking about expect the unexpected, or things are going to happen. And we saw Inky Johnson yesterday, who was freaking awesome.
Really good. Really good.
I'd never seen him before, and I was like blown away. I'm not a big motivational speaker kind of guy.
Right.
So that one for me was like that. I don't know why it just resonated with me though. Talk about it in Tech with Ty this week. But we can prepare all we want. You never expect something like that.
Right.
And he took that and used it. And now it's a superpower. Like,
yeah,
the guy's incredible. So
that's a good one that you brought up. And my favorite quote from that was, don't act like you're going to have a second chance to do something.
Yep.
It hit me right in the heart with my kids and with
everything.
Business, with this interaction.
Sure.
I mean, talking to whoever might listen to this, like we may never have a chance to do another video. So give it everything you've got. And video's an interesting thing. Like you're very tech savvy and I respect what you do. But for agents that might be listening to this, like I literally use my Mac.
Yeah.
I open my computer. I talk right into the camera. I don't even use a microphone other than computer. I might be sitting outside. It's not high quality, but like you said,
the message is what's important.
The message and the consistency of the message. I have a lot of agents say, I'm going to do video. Well, and I'm going to do one a week. I'm like, don't do that. Do one a month.
Right.
Until you know you can do one a month. Because if you overcommit, my podcast is a great example. One a week podcast is hard.
Yeah.
So I've worked where I take a season off and I do the podcast on a consistent basis. Consistency is what resonates. And I think right now in this market, our agents are feeling that we're there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to get us through it.
Do you batch a lot of your content?
Yeah.
You'll do podcasts. You'll do like 6 in a week or something. I'm not 6, but 2 or 3, and then next week I'll do 2 or 3.
And I do it by season. Like I take the summer off, and because of school and travel and all that. So, and I think people appreciate like a semester by semester.
Sure.
So I do a fall season and a spring season, and in between I'll batch a bunch of episodes. Like this summer I work on a bunch, and then I'll put them out. Sometimes I do live ones, but most of the time it's recorded.
Smarter than me, man. I just did, I think 83 of Tech with Ty, 83 weeks consecutive, and I'm like, that's what I was doing in my room this morning.
That's incredible.
But no, it goes back to be their broker before you're their broker, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I think is you and I both do. You have agents calling you. It's opened up opportunities. It doesn't mean every agent in the market's going to join me. It doesn't mean that I'm the smartest broker on the planet. It just means it's another opportunity. It's another at bat.
Yeah.
And I think the more opportunities you have, just like with listing and selling, the more conversations you have. I talked with Nimesh yesterday about networking. Those are potential referrals. The more people you talk to, the more at bats you have.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for some reason my parents did a good job. I don't know how, because I came from a little weird situation when I was growing up. But I just genuinely like helping people.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I ask agents that I'm talking to, do you really like helping people?
Yeah.
I mean, are you in this business for the right reason? Right now, that has to be your heartbeat. And it should be
100%.
always.
Right.
Like I do think about, I want to be their broker before I'm their broker. And I love to recruit. I love to grow.
Sure.
But
I want to see people succeed.
If you just help everybody you meet.
Right. It's not that I think I'm the best.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do. No.
Available.
No, I think that, what we provide is different and better than a lot of other brokers. Are there other good brokers out there? Absolutely. But I think what we offer is something unique and something different. And so if I can help them improve, that's my goal.
Right.
As a broker, whether I'm your broker or not, that's my goal with Equiti.
Yeah, and I think I'll give you a plug for that. If you guys don't watch that, you should. I signed up. I actually answered your question this last week. Like, what am I going to commit to do? I know that's not the purpose of it for somebody like me, but I love hearing it. And I think you've done a really unique thing. And if you guys aren't listening to it, you need to tune in because it's ahead of you're ahead of things.
You got to plug your podcast
that's important.
too.
Yeah, well, I do it better. I need to do a better job. I need to do a better job. I don't think that way, but like Nimesh pushes me sometimes. He'll say, "You got to get this out there." He'll even say it in front of a room of people. I'm like, "Don't do that."
Just tell them what it is.
Oh, the podcast, Rise Up in Real Estate. You can find it on YouTube. We do it once a week, and it's basically just to help. We're trying to find the extraordinary people in the ordinary people. Like when I interviewed him and I found out stuff about his family and stuff, and just you realize that we're all just the same.
All got a backstory, all got, trials and tribulations and
how
hurdles.
Can we not be, Rise Up came from, somebody told me I shouldn't use that because in the political realm and in the way the world is, that's kind of a threatening thing. But for me, it's like, how can we be more than ordinary? Like get above mediocre. I'm not interested in mediocre. No. I have a lot of kids and I'm tired a lot, but mediocre is not what I'm interested in. So that's the whole purpose. So you can find it on YouTube. We put them all there, and
sweet. We'll link it on the bottom of the screen.
Oh, I appreciate that. Hey, this is my friend Sabrina. We're doing
you're good.
Hey Sabrina. Yeah, I'll come find you though. Yeah. No problem.
You're fine.
No problem. That's actually a perfect example of what we were just talking about. Like she was an agent with us. In our market, she moved to another market, became an agent there, continually reaches out to us. She's still with RE/MAX, obviously. She just came to our office last week for 2 days to learn how could she improve her broker owner's life in her market up there. Perfect story. I mean,
love it.
She obviously doesn't know much about video. Maybe we need to get her on video.
No. Well, no.
That's a camera, by the way.
Yeah, no, I talked last night at length about, this broker. She's like super young, 34, I think. And she was just asking me, how did you get started? And those are the same questions that I had. Like, how did you get to where you're at? And that's why I think conferences like this are so important.
Yeah.
Because you have your own questions that you will develop along the way. And, your path to getting here was significantly different than mine.
Right.
And every other broker here. So you can always take your own path to get somewhere, but learning the mistakes, I don't call them mistakes, I call them tuition.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I've paid a ton of tuition over my life. I love hearing from other people how they got to where they are now and the journey along the way, because you don't realize all the mistakes that they made. All you see, especially in the day of social media, all you see is the perfect life, right? All you see is the success, as opposed to, I want to know, how did you fail?
Right.
So I can avoid it, or so I can, do something different.
Right. The whole world is the 90 seconds of success that we see. Like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
My favorite athlete of all time. We saw all we saw was his highlights.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that perspective because it's a journey.
Yeah.
We're all taking different journeys. But I promise you that in our brokerage, and we're relatively successful, same when I was an agent, I wasn't doing anything unique. I did everything that I learned from you guys.
Yeah.
And we learn it walking along these halls. We learn it going to association meetings, asking the right questions. We call it staying in curiosity. Yeah. Always being open to the next thing that can improve service.
There's no new ideas.
No.
And so we recycle a lot of that stuff. And you know what? It's, what is it? Copying or stealing is the finest form of flattery. And there's so much opportunity for everybody if you just do the right thing and do it well.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that even AI, which is super revolutionary, like changing our lives, is actually just the ability to go back and collect stuff that's actually already happened.
Right. Yeah, it's not predicting the future.
No, it's not predicting the future, which people think when you call it AI, they think it's something that's so new and strange and different. It's actually just the ability to go back and collect the way that I understand it.
Yeah. I mean, even the predictions that you will see with AI come out are analysis of previous data.
Right.
And it's basing predictions based on cycles and everything. I mean, just like stock markets and everything else, but
it just helps us.
Yeah,
for sure.
But Tad, thank you so much for joining, man.
I appreciate you asking. Good luck to you guys. Stay ahead of things. Stay strong, focused on the public, and you're going to be, you'll be successful and you'll be sitting here interviewing with Tyler one day.
Check out Rise Up in Real Estate.
Yeah, thank you, bud.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.